Hello everyone, this is Madhumita Mantri. I'm a product lead at Startree. It's an early stage startup in Bay Area in real-time analytics and anomaly detection space. And prior to this, I've worked on multiple companies in Bay Area, as you can see in my intro. Today's session is going to be with Surabhi. I'll let her introduce. But prior to that, I just wanted to quickly mention what's the topic of our discussion. It's rewards and challenges of building 0 to 1 products. Survi has a lot of experience in that area, and she's going to cover that in depth. And then I will be adding on anything related to data and AI product. That is what my background, and I'll just add on wherever it is going to add some value. Today in this session, episode 1, we'll be covering defining a problem statement and then building the product. There are a couple of questions I have. First, I'll go through, and if you have question, type in chat, or I'll unmute yourself once you raise hand, and then you can ask your question. We want this session to be really interactive, and stay tuned for episode 2. In the episode 2, we will be covering a lot of interesting topics similar to this, and you can tune into that later in the week. We'll be publishing or promoting that event. So with that, I'll let Shurvi introduce yourself. Tell me about your background, your career success in product management, and something not on your LinkedIn profile.
Okay, that's going to be interesting. Hi, everyone, and hi, Madhumita. So I can quickly share my background in product. When I moved to California in 2014-ish timeframe, I've worked with startups, building both B2C as well as B2B kind of products. And I started my career in product management on startups. I do have an engineering background, and then I was in consulting and moved to product. And so I started with startups and then moved into larger organizations like Tesla, Meta, and currently at Zoox. I really like building something 0 to 1, whether it's a larger company or a startup. Mostly in Tesla, I got this initiative to build something for global sales. It was a new product. Similarly, in Meta, community chats was new within the larger framework of Messenger and Instagram. So it comes with different challenges when you have to build something new in an existing ecosystem without bugging 2 billion users because they can just stop the app if you build something new. And then in Zoox, we are building Robotaxi, and it's a completely new initiative, nothing done before like that, like because your own vehicle. And then I am doing the mobile, the website, and anything customer communication side of things. So other than this, you asked something not on my LinkedIn. So something not on my LinkedIn. I am not only like this product is like really my deep passion, but other than that, I'm curious, and product management career helps in satisfying that, because no 2 weeks are same. You are in different initiatives, different phases of your product. So my curiosity generally led me to do different things. Like I went to a contest in Miss California. It was like, okay, I think sometimes you just have to show up, prepare and show up. So I think it was on LinkedIn. I don't remember. It's currently on LinkedIn, but that was something. And then I went to New York Fashion Week a few years ago. So I just think you learn from these experiences in life, and it's one life, and you don't have to be master of everything. You can be jack at some places, but give it a shot. And similarly in product, it helps like you go out of your box, like your thinking, and try something new. That's pretty much.
Wow, that's a great introduction and really inspiring your background. Like you have worked in so many companies, and great to have your experience like working on a small startup and a big startup. And the fun part you just shared that we did not know about, at least I did not know, like great to know that speaking to Miss California and
Fast.
fashion week. Well, that's great. I think without further ado, I'll just dive into the topic of the day today. So we'll start with defining the problem, which is very, very critical in 0 to 1 building a product. Of course, everyone has its own journey. Sometimes it is intentional, sometimes it is not. People learn and get to it. So my first question to you on this section is, what is the problem that the product is trying to solve, and why it is worth solving, and how can someone validate it? So that's a thought that everyone gets to start with. Like, everyone is excited of building a 0 to 1 product, but these are the questions most of the time people start, like who are starting fresh, struggle with. So if you can share your experience in some non-traditional product. I understand you can't disclose your company's product, but can pick anything that is close to you and you can share.
Yeah, happy to
Imagining
take
that.
any example. Yeah, pick any product because it's mostly the thinking. And let's pick a product that many people know, because we would need something. You want to take mature product so that as
Since
it
we're in the rideshare, at least like the advanced tech of rideshare, why don't we pick up like Uber in general and go through it? I see +1.
Sure, Uber is good. And yeah, currently I'm not in ride sharing because we are doing like ride sharing needs different type permits. But yeah, Uber should be fine. And if there is something coming with current work, then I'll have to pause there. But yeah,
Since
Uber
Santanu
sounds
is
good.
also on the line, I'll just quickly validate. Santanu, you're good with taking up the Uber use case? Not sure he's able.
We can take Uber. That should be
Yeah,
fine.
yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so actually, let's take something new that Uber wants to build, because we know. So actually, let's take a step back. Whether what I do generally, even before choosing a role, right? That I need to see, is there a passion with the mission? Can I really feel that I want to solve or make world better in this particular domain? Because every company has some problem that they are solving, which is related to their mission. Like Facebook wants to connect, Meta wants to connect people. They're giving tools, make world more connected. Google wants to help people by making information more searchable, and everything is generally aligned on that particular framework. There might be some fintech companies those are helping people feel empowered. Tesla was more into renewable energy. I think as a PM, your role could be very like, because the skills are very transferable, but do you resonate with the domain? So generally I start there, because there are thousands of things that you can do in this world to make this world better. But how do you see what you want to solve, right? And that's how I think companies also startup founders also start. They generally feel the problem firsthand, and or they think there is a market, and that's where you need to see that whether you are skilled, equipped with everything, and that comes from your inner passion as well. So just little bit, I think, really helps to become successful in a role. Because I personally think if I'm in a domain that I don't resonate, it's not worth solving of a problem, how can I convince others to believe in what I'm doing, right? So that would be generally like my first thing. But let's say you have landed a role, or it's your own startup, and definitely then you have identified the problem. But now, so you're, because you've asked me a lot of questions, can we like take it step by step? Like, so let's say you are in Uber, a PM of Uber. So I would really deeply understand what is the mission of Uber, what problems in the world it's trying to solve. Because in order to convince your leadership that, let's say you want to do something different, you need to tie it down to the top company level goals. And that's where you would want to understand what's the mission of Uber and how your product fits into that. If you're building something new, it's more important rather than building something on the roadmap, right? Because I'm assuming here you are playing a strategic role as well, where you are bringing in something that resonates. Let's say if you want to say, oh, we should start something to connect people in terms of dating. Maybe I'm just taking randomly. It may not resonate, but if you see, oh yeah, people, it can resonate with Uber's mission, then it makes sense. Maybe intracity, intercity rides, there is currently, I don't think there is a service. So you can say, okay, what's the problem and why Uber can solve it best. It's well positioned. That's how, for any new initiative, you have to really think how it's connected to your top level company initiative. Anything you would like to add from your experience, and then we can jump on, you can ask me any follow-up questions before we jump to the next part.
Yeah, sure. I have a quick follow-up question, and then I can add also my experience at LinkedIn and now at my current startup. So my quick follow-up question to you is, yes, totally get like a new PM joining Uber, and they have fresh ideas and how they can go about launching something new. And you very well articulated the first thing the person needs to understand, like what's the Uber vision or mission for Uber in general, and then how, if the idea or the fresh idea that is aligned with that goal, and if you more so important, like if you are connected to the problem, then you can articulate it very well. So that's very well said. So the follow-up question to that is, like, if somebody is not working for a company like Uber and they're just an entrepreneur trying a new product off the ground, so definitely there's no vision and mission. But do you still recommend that to form a vision and mission in the beginning, or do a couple of iterations to get there? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question. So I personally think, at least as many entrepreneurs I know in person, I also started something. I wanted to do something. So there are different type of people who become entrepreneurs. Some want to become an entrepreneur. They don't have a problem at hand, and then they search through problems. Some people are like, they already see a problem, then they validate and they want to solve it. And I think I see more people in the second category. But let's say, even if somebody's in the first category, it's not like anyone, they are going to the events or they are like meeting with other founders, that they should not jump start to the next problem they are seeing. They should really think, is it the problem set space that they are committed to? Because I think hopping around is okay, because you sometimes have to pivot, but still, what are you solving in the world? What's your purpose, right? It's important, because you have to spend too much energy, time, and your life perhaps, because you can't be doing 20 different things in this life, right? At some point, maybe you can. So I think that resonance is important. If something is not clicking to you at all, I personally think it may not be the best idea. So, because I think of it like, this is something I was sharing with a friend, what is product management, and this something came to me. Imagine that you have somewhere a genie who can solve some problems. Don't think how it can solve. You are going to build that product and genie is going to help you. So now there are hundreds of problems in the world. Which problem? This genie can only give you power of solving one problem. Which problem do you want to solve? So that's like starting a startup, getting funding, getting the resources. You have the potential to solve, but what area do you want to focus on? That's where I think that you really need to understand, not only from your perspective, but also, is it a large enough problem? So validation of problems, like, okay, I think it's a problem, but I'm not building a product for just myself. Are other people also other people also face the same problem? And then you have to evaluate, you want to solve it for masses, for a particular segment. Those are, again, little bit down this stream decisions, but are very important, because you're building something to, of course, to do good in the world, but also you're building a business out of it, right? So that's where you validate the market. Where do you want to solve, for how large of an audience, target market, right? Then your pricing, promotion, everything goes on to that, where you should have some idea early on. Not like you built a product and then you're like, okay, how do I sell it? That is not something that builds a successful business. Always. Sometimes, of course, people do it other way around, where they are super passionate, they build something. But I think doing that friends and family test, seeing how people are solving the problem today, helps you in validating that it's not something you are only thinking, but others are also facing. And maybe you can get better ideas to solve the problem. So initially, I would just focus on defining the problem really, really well. I will not worry how I'm gonna solve it, because I also know some friends, some entrepreneurs, not entrepreneurs, these people generally don't become entrepreneurs. Sorry, they have an idea to solve a problem, and they are like very much engrossed in the idea rather than on the problem. So even if you have an idea, I think I'll go back to the problem, that okay, this is the problem, this is a way to solve, because that's the product life cycle and journey. You might have to change the way you solve multiple times. I hope we all become successful in the first way, but the idea is to really understand the problem, then solve it in multiple different ways. That's how you can evolve your company. Otherwise, it's something really small, right?
Yeah.
So I read this quote from Einstein. He used to spend 95% of his time in understanding the problem, and then 5% in the solution. So initially, at least have that mindset. Did I
Yeah.
answer your question?
Yeah, you did. So you totally did, and thanks for sharing and going in depth. This is going to be really valuable for people who are listening to it. I just wanted to add, as you were saying, like from my experience, and you touched upon one interesting thing, like where people are building something ground up without thinking like whether I'm ready for selling, or like more from thinking from the business angle. So I was part of an interesting journey at LinkedIn. So we were part of the war rooms that usually happens when some business metrics goes down, and a bunch of people will huddle in a room, like including like sometimes it is CEO as well, like in early days of LinkedIn, and business operations team, data science, and everybody is looking at like what went wrong and why went wrong. And back then, like the tech lead I was working with, and he found an interesting problem, that it is taking like quite a long time, for sometimes it takes weeks and months to even find the root cause. And at that time, I'm talking about a couple of years back, when like the insights were not able to be like the root cause analysis could not be done so quickly. And he was building a platform called Apache Pinot, which is now open source, which provides real-time insights. So that they were already doing for, like, if you have seen people who viewed my profile is powered by that platform. So if somebody visits your profile, you can immediately see it reflected, like those insights, like real-time insights. So he thought like, maybe it's an interesting problem to go after solving. It was more of bottoms up approach. And as you said, like the problem is clear, like the problem is to how quickly we can identify these issues in real time, so that we can prevent any metristic impact of business, because this is like driving business growth and metrics. And for LinkedIn, it was back then like how much engagement we are getting, or adoption and stuff like that. And any consumer product, like any of those metrics goes down, it is hard, right? So this product was born based on that problem. And the first iteration of the product, like the solution, as you said, like it took some time to get to a solution that works for scale and try to solve like multiple use cases, or at least solving like a large group of people, their pain points, rather than like very niche. So after doing that, I think the approach was interesting. Like we saw a lot of traction at LinkedIn and adoption. So the team decided to bring, like, and they founded a company. That's where I'm working right now. And this product is now a part of this company where we are trying to sell to bigger audience because of the idea validation we got to do at LinkedIn. So it's a journey, as you said. It takes a couple of years. Sometimes, like especially platform products or data products, takes that own sweet time. Unlike like consumer facing product, you can iterate probably very quickly. Here the cycles are pretty long, but I just thought of sharing that interesting.
Yeah, even physical products have longer cycles, so you need definitely more validation. For digital products,
Oh yeah, like your
okay.
manufacturing product, or like Uber car, like I
Yeah,
think somewhat.
absolutely. Yeah, but I think, even in digital products, it's good to validate early on, because you have access to people and resources, so why not validate, right?
Yes, totally.
I think, yeah, go ahead.
So I think well, somewhat you covered this, but in terms of, as you were talking, like, are you solving for a large audience, right? So what would be your recommendation based on your experience, like working at Facebook or at a startup? Like how big the market should be, like how people will draw that line when it is worth going for an idea?
Yeah, that's a good one. So generally in Meta, what you see, there are a couple of ways. I mean, I can mention 3 to 4 ways, and please feel free to add. So first is, if you're a big company, you already have a set of products, let's say Instagram, Messenger. You see if people are sometimes using some of your products features in a different way, that's like a latent user behavior, then you can see, oh, if I do it and help them do it, like if we build something to help them to solve it in a more efficient way, then it's automatically a product that you can create. So it's like identifying users' problem that your current product is not solving in the best possible manner, but people are tweaking it to use in that format. So that can validate that if you make it big and make it easy for people, then people are going to use it. And of course, you can rely on research here. You can ask your existing users. So seeing that, so for larger companies, I've seen that works well, especially in the consumer field, because people are pretty smart. They found sometimes they give you ideas to create new use cases, and then you can help them to do them better. That's how this community chats was kind of born, the product I used to work on. Other way is more like, let's say you see a new trend coming in where, let's say, video is getting popular and you want to incorporate in your product. I generally think that's not like really a problem, but that's more like an opportunity driven thing. So, but then you don't just do like, okay, just this other product is doing, so I want to do that. That's more like competition focused, but you see how you can, maybe there is a problem that you're already solving, and whether this new technology, AI, ChatGPT or anything, can it make your users' life better? So again, you go back to the problem and see now if there is this new technology that's available, can we do something by using that? Or you find a new problem, usually because there is a company, so you don't want to solve a completely new problem, but adjacent, maybe in the user journey or user life cycle. If you're helping people with, say, checkout, do you want to help them with reviews? So I'm just like thinking from an enterprise product perspective. So or you can also see what other products people are using when they're using your product. That's a very good way to extend your product offerings, right? Third way is creating, maybe going to new markets, so you can see what are the problems for your product that would not help users in this new market. For example, if you are selling, maybe building sunglasses, and it's just for, like preventing, like just for fashion, maybe today, helping people to get not like burn their eyes. So if you want to help them, maybe in, let's say, an event like Burning Man, it's happening today, it just comes to my mind randomly. So what do you want to modify to your sunglasses that people can use there? It needs to be more robust because it's sandy, the sun is brighter in the desert. So you can, because there are people who are already using your product, and now they might have to buy some separate glasses. Maybe you don't want to buy like a $500 glass, so you want to offer a cheaper glass because it's just for an event. So you extend your product offerings because already you have a lot of customers who are buying, but if you get to know that they are buying these glasses for other use cases from other vendors, then you can offer that. Similarly, for other, maybe you're not producing skiing glasses, so you can see, okay, most of my customer base will also buy that. So should we build that? But again, you see how many people are going to buy. Do you want to go in that market? You ask your users, can you meet their price point? Things like that. And do you have the capability? Maybe skiing glasses require some different type of glass. I'm just thinking out loud here, and you don't have that capability, then don't go after that, right?
Yeah, totally makes sense. Well, thanks for sharing all these different types of possibilities and opportunities out there in tied to a market. Like how big is the problem? Like to start with, like you talked about Facebook, already you have existing user base. You can always tap in and see if it's a big market to solve for the problem. Like whether it's kind of fixed box to some extent, because you can't go crazy out there. And then the second one is like where you're using the blue ocean strategy, which is entering into a new market and then trying to, of course, the challenge would be market penetration, But if you have a strong problem to go after, would be interesting. And sometimes like people who are interested in building 0 to 1, you don't need to be crazy, as you said. You can always look at like what are other products out there and what you can do differently than that. And many people do that actually. Like what are your differentiators? And as you build 0 to 1 product also and building your moat, I think that's an extremely valuable side to look at. So yeah, I think this information will definitely help people to evaluate like how big is the market and is it worth going after for that product. So this is an
Other
interesting.
area, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for summarizing, Madhumita. Other things could be like you really understand your user well and
Right.
see what are the other problems they are facing and can you solve
Unsolved,
them? Or look
unsolved.
at different users, right? Maybe if today you're focusing on teenagers, then you want to see as an adult, if they grow up, can you do something because they already love your product, they are the customers. So can you go in their different life cycle? Or you don't have certain customers today, but you are, let's say, maybe building a luxury car.
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe luxury car, or otherwise the normal car, but you want to target a different segment, like how these companies like Honda, Toyota does, they have different segments and maybe they renamed it for brand thing, but they wanted to tap in a different type of customer base. So there are different strategies that you can use to build completely new products. This is mostly for larger companies that we have discussed, but you also asked for entrepreneurs. So that there, I think it's mostly most of the entrepreneurs, 0 to 1 products that startups will, they really think there is a problem. They can have a better way to solve that problem. Maybe there are existing solutions or nobody has solved that problem. Then they really need to they need to evaluate whether this problem is not like only within their bubble. Is it really across more users? And then they should figure out how to solve it in the best possible manner and maybe get inspiration from how other products are doing. Sometimes you see that maybe some other industry is solving a problem and you can bring it to your industry, and then it's a new way to solve that, right?
Absolutely. I see Mazaz has a question. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You can unmute and you can also share your video if you want to and go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, thank you so much.
Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yes, this side Majaz Hussain. I'm sorry I joined late. Actually, I am working right now, and I was supposed to join. I was so desperate that I want to join to learn something more about product management. Today I read the news that about Zomato launched AI chatbot to assist customers in placing orders. So I want to know your thoughts in this. This is the age of AI, machine learning, all those stuffs going on. What is your take on this? This is my question.
So
Madhumita, you know about Zomato? I really don't know. I haven't read it. If you want to give
Yes,
more.
I will help you out in that. Zomato is where we can place our food orders.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
a delivery app, Zomato.
food
It's an
delivery app. Yes, yes, exactly.
So what's your question specifically? I know it launched AI chatbot to assist its customers to help with placing orders. It sounds great. What your question like specifically on this one?
My
What
question is, what is your take on this? Is really it is going to help the customers? If yes, how? Means that's my question.
I mean, are you asking is it a worth problem to solve?
Solve, yes, exactly.
Okay. So Reed, do you want to take that question first and I can add if
I really don't know about this company. Sorry about that. But I would like to know what's their, like, going back to our framework, what's their mission and what are they doing? And like, what is their strategy? I don't think we can really say is it good or not if it's day one, but strategically we analyze that, hey, does it resonate with what problem they are solving and what is it? they are like the chatbot, what problem they are solving. So maybe some context can help if you know about this product, Madhumita, or do you wanna like make
Yeah,
it type
sure.
Uber
I
Eats
can
or something like that?
I can definitely try to answer what I am aware of this product. Like, I mean, we have done proof of concept with this
Is it
team.
available here? Why didn't I hear it? I don't.
Company in India. It's
Oh, okay,
similar to
okay.
DoorDash. It's similar to DoorDash. It's a food delivery company. So the way I see it's a worth problem or worth solution, in fact, like AI chatbot to me is a solution to a problem, and it's going to assist the customers in placing order. So what I've seen usually, the customer behavior, like learning that in real time is very, very important for a lot of these applications. Like if we talk about Uber Eats as well, right? If I'm placing an order and I go and search, say I'm looking for Italian food and I searched, and in my location I could not find Italian food, I will just churn and go to DoorDash. Like there are so many competitive like food delivery apps today. So I will go to DoorDash and try to order from there. So I think at that moment you're missing an opportunity, right? Like where Uber, like just a matter of like it could not provide the like the restaurants in that area which are like providing Italian, because it may not have the inventory, right? It's a good learning, and then there is a demand to it, and people should react to it. But generally, what happens is if you don't have something online available right then, it's hard for you to learn. Like by the time you learn, it is a couple of weeks or months that there's a demand, and people are like we are losing people on the platform, especially for consumer facing applications like Zomato or DoorDash. Like, it's very important, like that it's directly translate to money to some extent. So I guess on that aspect, I can see like how AI chatbot can be very, very helpful to assist customers to, like, if for whatever reason they could not find, like guide them, like this is how you can find their other alternatives, and to retain them in your website. And sometimes it's also like where I'm frustrated, like I've a bad thing got delivered or my items are missing, and if I'm just filing a ticket, like I mean I don't have somebody to talk to. There's a huge difference. Like if you go to a shop, like the in-store shop experiences, humans are present, that human touch is missing in this product, and bringing in the human touch, like I see AI chatbot solving that pain point very well. And in that, like again, as you said, like mapping to the vision and mission, I think Zomato will definitely try to retain its user and convert them. So tying it back and providing the best experience so that more and more people will come to Zomato and order food and not leave their platform. So I think it's a worth investment in that way.
Yeah, thanks, Madhumita. I think that helps. To add on to that, so basically this chatbot is, I'm assuming because I've not used the product, that mostly when I order with Uber Eats or DoorDash, you have to interact with the dasher, the delivery person on coordinating if you're living in an apartment complex, or even while ordering food, there is not much time help available. So this is, as you said, augmenting that real life customer experience when they're going to restaurant with the AI-based chatbot, which maybe understands me as a customer and all these other customers, what is good in a restaurant, help customers with the data, right? So definitely, I think, as you said, it's like giving better customer experience and service, which is really required. And maybe their KPIs are to decrease the time that they are taking for average customer. Maybe there was a waiting time of 10 minutes before a real human can come in. So this chatbot can solve the maybe 20% of the problems. I'm not saying 100%, but let's say 50% also. Then it reduces the load on the real human agent. And maybe people get better answers, and then they keep them engaged also for some time before somebody has to join to the human agent and then going to the right agent. So definitely, I don't know what was their current problem, but looks like these could be the problems: long wait time, not getting good answers, or maybe there was no recommendation system. So they are trying to implement that as well, and making their delivery people more efficient. I generally feel there is repetitive information many times, that you are, as a customer, also sharing the same information, and most of the people have same questions. So what if a chatbot actually knows your data and provides that, and maybe they know that you live in this city. Like I live in a huge community, but there are maybe 5,000 apartments. So I'm just building out something small. I'm thinking Zomato would be city-based kind of. There are some local food delivery experts, so they would know your community so well. They don't have to bug you. They can use this knowledge platform graph. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you touch based on one interesting area, like when you were talking about, like what if, I mean, as Majaz was asking, like he wasn't sure it is worth problem solving, and maybe there is not enough data available to validate that. So in that case, like usually PMs take the path of building certain hypothesis and then validating it in different forums. Like A/B test is, like if you're consumer facing, A/B test is a good way to validate that. Like I remember long time back when I had launched job finding bot on Bing, like when Bing acquired LinkedIn, Microsoft acquired LinkedIn. So first initiative, we were trying out like how to launch conversational bots in Bing experience so people can interact with LinkedIn's data. And that wasn't a success, but there was a hypothesis and idea that people will use it. And how we found that was like, this wasn't hypothesis, went about validating, and A/B test gave a good result, like where we uncovered that not many white collar professionals go to Bing to search for jobs. So that was an interesting, of course, it's a long time back. Things would have changed right now. But that's another way to validate hypothesis.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Awesome. With the interest of time, I'll quickly move to the other section. I know, Shantanu, you were trying to unmute yourself. So if you have a quick question, you can chime in. Otherwise, I'll move on to the next section.
No worries, let's move on.
Okay, great. Hold on to your question and we'll get to that. So the next section is all about building the product. There are different aspects, like what are the key features we are building, how we are going to build, what are the challenges, and how would you measure success and get the product to market. So there are interesting problems to share. I know there's a lot of questions to answer, but maybe Survi, you can take one example and give a walkthrough of these areas so that people who are trying to build for the first time or building the product, they can take some of these learnings.
Sure, Madhumita. So basically, you want to take an example and go through the, let's say you have identified the problem, validated the problem. Now, how do we build it?
Yes.
Building it. Okay. You want to go back to Uber? I think we didn't discuss through it much.
This will be connection. We can go back to Uber.
Want to build a particular feature? Any feature you want in Uber? Happy to.
Interesting. So let's say Uber today doesn't know what's my favorite food, and I want an experience, like as a personalized experience, which would, based on my favorite food, it will recommend like these are the restaurants you can go and order food.
Okay.
Of course, I can. There's an alternative feature to that, like where I can go and look up in the order history, like what are the orders I've placed. But this is, I mean, as a user, when I go, I always end up searching, like, and then this is a common set of food that is favorite to me, and I keep searching that again and again, rather like it could have been one point click and I could have gone. So say as a PM, I'm deciding if I want to launch this feature, and the idea validation piece, of course, which we already covered, somebody has done that due diligence. Now it's come to a point like, yes, let's there's a good demand and a lot of people are going to use this feature. Let's talk about like how to build this feature and launch this feature.
Sounds good. Yeah, as you were speaking, I went to Uber Eats and searched their mission because I don't remember it. So it says to make eating well effortless for everyone, everywhere. So the problem you are saying to solve just resonates with the mission because it's making it effortless, right? Because I was thinking, sometimes Uber Eats inspires me to discover new things because I'm a different kind of user. I want to explore something different and not go with repetition. Sometimes I was like, okay, but that's why I said I'm not building a product for myself, because I would like, do I want to build it? That's what I was thinking. But their mission is having resonance with what you said. So the problem we are trying to solve is make it easier for people to order their favorite food through Uber Eats. Okay, so we have validated the problem that many people want. They keep on ordering same thing, or they love a particular pizza, some pizzas, and they want to try different pizza options, right, from different restaurants. Okay, so as you said, mm, just give me, let me jot down my thoughts. Building this product, I would first see that. Okay, again, we're not going to validate how big the market and everything. It's just building, implementing.
Yes.
Okay. So again, I would start where Uber Eats is today, not on day one, because you already have a lot of user data, restaurant data, and we are going to serve our existing customers first rather than going after new customers here, because it's more like building a recommendation system on their favorite food. Again, I would try to really dot down to the problem that we are trying to help them to get to the favorite food and not the favorite restaurant here, because then the value is less, because they can just have one restaurant, two restaurants, and keep on delivering. So I don't think that's the problem we are solving. But let's say somebody likes Indian food, help them to discover more options in that front and get them their favorite food, correct? So, okay. So I would also establish some success metrics here, that why are we solving this problem? Is it really going to be a game changer? So number of orders could be an easy metric. Is it gonna increase the number of orders on the platform? Because that's what matters to Uber Eats, right? Their North Star should be that. And other helping metrics would be, maybe it's taking an average of maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes for someone to search for the restaurant, find something that they like. So are they churning out, as you said, going to another platform? There maybe their mind is changed, because if we see abandoned cart, so we are seeing some user behavior here. So I would really like to understand that how, if I build this feature, how I'm gonna measure that I'm going in the right direction, and we should continue to invest on that. So establishing some North Star metrics, some counter metrics, that maybe we have hundreds of restaurants now, only 10 of the restaurants are serving the most. We don't want that, because then new restaurants won't come. We won't be able to diverse the traffic. Just we have to look out for some downsides as well of doing it. So let's say that we put this North Star of increasing the number of orders as well as order time as a helpful metric along with that. And so anything you want to add from data side?
Yeah, no, I think you covered it all, like most of it, building the product.
I can share more like now, how do you build, but here just like, because I think before actually building, you really need to identify a way to know whether you are going in the right direction, to prove to your teams that you are solving the right problem, so that all stakeholders are aligned. Because anybody can say, hey, why are we building? If someone is like me, as I said, Anish, I was thinking, oh, do I really want to build it, kind of thing. So if you know that this is really helping your product, because the challenge for PMs is there are so many problems and so many ideas to solve those problems. The way what you should invest in, is it really going to be a game changer? And I think Uber Eats does care about revenue becoming the best platform. So how is it going to help? And if you're building it, how it helps the top line company metrics is super important. Now, if we come to building phase, it's about, you need all these insights here, that your recommendations should be good to users. It's not like you have built something, but that's not helping users, but in fact wasting their time or giving them wrong choices, because then you're going to lose the trust. So really having, I think for this, you would need data, as you were saying. So how to start collecting that before even building the feature, because maybe in the background, you will start analyzing what you have, what is the gap today, what you need, maybe have more inventory from restaurants, what is popular in their offline orders as well, outside Uber. So you get those information inputs as well. And maybe you can ask user a survey what they really like, because maybe I always end up ordering where the time is less, but it's not my favorite food. Usually that's what happens with me when I'm starving. Then I think I should order it Uber, and then I look at, okay, what is going to be delivered soon? And my thinking is that, okay, out of these 2-3 places, if something is coming in 25 minutes, I'm just going to go with that. But that may not be my favorite food. So just ask me what do I like. So I think what I'm trying to say is get some background information here to see if you have the data. If you don't have, get that data. And then really working with your cross-functional teams here, that how you're gonna give the best user experience. Where do you wanna like go next? Like, do you wanna go in, I mean, for the purpose of this conversation, since we have a few minutes, where would people find most value? The product experience, how do you launch it? What should we focus on?
Yeah, so I think just for the completion of things, I mean, of course, I mean, I would love Santanu and Majas to chime in also, just to close on what you said just now, how data can be valuable in the beginning of the building a product and learning about the user patterns. I think it kind of boils down to quick validation, right?
Yes.
Whether the feature is, before you can scale, even like the
Absolutely.
next, while building, like the next phase is always like once you've proven the value, then scale. Like don't scale early on. And
Yeah, excellent point that you have to, maybe initially you don't even build all this. Just ask. I mean, generally these larger companies do some beta program or something because they don't want to launch it to global audience. So you can just like build something very scrappy here rather than building your entire platform with all the tech stack, so that you see that are people gonna use it. So that's where, if you don't have, so this is a different type of data where you can ask your existing users, hey, would you like to have your favorite food delivered? Or you build something where you can just create something like a normal Google form or something, right? Where you can, instead of creating all these other fancier products, and ask some of your early adopters what kind of food they like, or like whatever your product is, and then see if you're able to provide that service and how satisfied their rating is. Earlier they were giving you 4-star review, now they're in 5-star review. So again, the number of orders are increasing, the time is decreasing, so you know that you are going in the right direction. So that's like some sort of validation on your hypothesis that this is going to work. And then you roll it out again, build an MVP. Don't build the entire fancier product here with all the pictures and everything. You can start really small.
Scrap in small. And I think foundation to that, as you said, like product analytics is very much important, collecting the right data. And most of the time I've seen like that is the most ignored area, but I think that is very, very critical to have the data, collected the data, and then understand the user behavior.
Oh, yes. Yeah, to keep, it helps, as I was saying, having your success metrics ready, because let's say another product idea comes in and then the team wants to diverse your resources. How can you be and very objective about it, which is the best way to solve this? What is the right problem to solve? If you don't know this is just an add-on feature, then I wouldn't want to become a PM for such a product, right? It's not really moving any top line needle or anything, right? Like it's not helping my customers immensely, because that's where they generally say, oh, differentiate wants and needs. It's more like, really, is it gonna be that next 10x feature? I don't know. So without data, right? Because there can be so many different things that you can make it can provide to make the experience better, but then it's also becomes like kitchen sink kind of a product where they're, let's say you keep on doing that, then eventually users are confused. What do they do? So you don't want to do that. That's why identify the right way to measure what you are doing. This helps you to stay aligned, your stakeholders and your users as well, because they know this is the value they are getting in the company.
Absolutely. So that's all I had.
So I had a question around, how does a big company think about defining a problem versus how a startup thinks about defining a problem, given you guys have like worked in both the scenarios?
So usually, startup also depends on the phase of the startup. Are you starting something new, or you're already an existing startup and you are the PM there? So the difference, when I was talking more from someone who wants to start as an entrepreneur, So bigger companies usually have a mission. So your problem should resonate with that mission. But when you are thinking, okay, I want to build something, then you are the one who defines that this is where I want to contribute to the world. I'm not trying to make it sound like noble, but really as a PM or as a builder, you are making world better, and mostly you will become successful if you have that desire and passion. So that's the difference I was saying, that in a larger company, when you're selecting some role, you need to see that, do you resonate with that mission? I personally don't resonate with everything on the planet. Maybe I resonate with certain problem areas more. So I would want to have my contribution in that role. But if I'm starting something, then I know what are the problems that I see and I'm capable of solving, building a team. Would I be able to commit myself for next 5 years for that? At least I will see something long term and then define. I might know the problem, I might not know the mission. I have worked in a startup which was really early stage startup, and we didn't have the mission when I joined, but there was a clear problem statement. And then, we worked with a lot of other people who help define the values, the mission and everything. But having that clarity is really important. But there is no other difference. Mission, actually, Simon Sinek has put it very nicely, what your mission should be. It should be like something that is understandable by any common person. It should be focused on the problem, on making the world better, should not be tied to a technology, because as I was saying, Facebook's mission is to help people to connect with each other, provide tools to make people's connections better. But it could be through events, it could be tomorrow on a virtual, like through the glasses, AR glasses, but it's all helping people to connect together. So your mission never really changes, but the way you create products around that and solve different problems can change. Through marketplace, you are helping community to connect each other on commerce, but again, the original mission remains the same. So yeah, those are certain guidelines, and you can Google it, how to set a mission through Simon Sinek. I found it personally very valuable.
Yeah, I've listened to him.
Okay.
Great. I
Okay,
know
guys,
you
I
are
need to drop for a work meeting now.
yeah. Just a quick note, Survi, thanks for your time, and thanks for sharing like the problem validation and building. Next episode, we'll look forward to validating and growing the product. So really enjoyed the conversation, and I'm sure people would have got valuable insights from this. If they want to reach out to you, they'll reach out on LinkedIn. What is the good way? Like if they have questions?
Yeah, LinkedIn is good. And I generally post a lot of things on LinkedIn articles. So I would suggest go through those first and then ask me more questions. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it
Follow
helps me to
your,
find answers. You can comment on existing posts as well. And maybe someone, me or from my community, can actually give a better answer. And thanks, Madhumita, for adding really valuable content. And thanks to you guys for interesting
And
questions.
the recording will be anyways available offline if anyone wants to consume it and hear you offline. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining and making it interactive.